Mabuhay, Kabayan! I am Attorney Donna, the property lawyer, and I'm here in the beautiful city of Porto. While enjoying this view, I thought of a question that many overseas Filipinos would ask. Where is it better to buy property? In Europe, like here in Portugal, or back home in the Philippines? So for today's video, we'll go through the pros and cons of buying a property in Europe or in the Philippines. We will also discuss about Portugal's Golden Visa program. And by the end of this video, you'll know where your hard-earned money can go further. First, as we always do, let's talk about the law. So in Portugal, foreigners are allowed to own property here. Land, houses, apartments, you name it, you can buy it, as long as you have the money. And that is one reason why Portugal has always been a hotspot for foreign investors. Whereas in the Philippines, of course, as we know by now, it's different. Because our constitution prohibits foreigners from owning real estate property directly. Yes, the foreigners can own condominiums for as long as 60% of those condominium corporations are owned by Filipinos. Or they can enter into long-term property leases for as long as 99 years. So as you've known, I have created a video about that RA 12252 in this video. So make sure you watch it after this. And one more thing to note is that former Filipinos can still own property in the Philippines, albeit in a limited size. I have also created a video about that here. So please make sure to watch it here. So right away, Portugal gives more freedom for foreigners to buy, while the Philippines reserves land ownership to Filipinos. Now let's talk about something that many foreigners link to Portuguese property, and that is a Golden Visa program. For years, investors could buy real estate here and qualify for residency. But heads up, since October 2023, property purchases no longer qualify for the Golden Visa. Instead, here are the current routes for the Golden Visa program. First is investment funds or venture capital. If you have a minimum of 500,000 euros or around 33,994,000 pesos, but the fund cannot be tied to real estate. Second route is through business and job creation. You also need to invest at least 500,000 euros, and that is in a Portuguese company and create jobs for Portuguese people. Third is scientific research. You also need to contribute, guess what, 500,000 euros to approve research or innovation projects. Kung gipit kayo sa budget, maybe you'll be interested in the fourth route, and that is cultural and heritage support. You'll have to donate 250,000 euros or that's 16,997,000 pesos. Take note ha, na donation to, so don't expect na may kikitain yung pera mo. But why is the Golden Visa program of Portugal still attractive? Because you only need to stay 14 days every 2 years, and after 5 years, you can apply for a permanent residency or even citizenship. Plus, you can include your spouse, children, or parents. But let's be real, these are high-stake investments, and these are often tied to funds or projects, which means higher risk, less transparency, and slower application processing. Sometimes people wait for years just to be able to get that Golden Visa. So my tip is, if you're considering the Golden Visa, make sure that you consult a lawyer and a financial advisor so that you'll be properly guided in this decision. Now, let's compare the costs of buying property. In Portugal, a modest apartment like here in Porto, the one that you see in my background, it could cost between 150,000 to 300,000. So round off na lang natin, that's around 10 to 20 million pesos. With Lisbon, it can even be higher. For transaction costs like taxes, notary, stamp duty, at about 6 to 10% of the purchase price. In the Philippines, it is much more affordable. For the price of a small apartment in Porto, you could buy a house and lot in Cavite or even a beachfront lot in Palawan. Transaction costs are also lower. It can be around 2 to 5%. It depends on your arrangement with the seller. So remember to check out the property offerings of the real estate company called Prima Vita Realty, and you will find great properties with attractive prices. Check out their website link below. Now, in terms of returns, Porto and Lisbon thrive on tourism. So Airbnb rentals can be profitable. Yes, they can. And long-term appreciation of the property is also very steady. But regulations on short-term rentals are also tightening, as this is what's happening in Europe right now. Just recently, the Prime Minister of Portugal has announced an increase of the Municipal Property Transfer, or IMT, for home purchases by non-resident citizens of Portugal. Whereas in the Philippines, our economy is fast growing. Rentals in Metro Manila, Cebu, or Davao can yield higher returns. And emerging areas like Palawan and Cavite, they are also booming. However, lifestyle matters too. In Portugal, it's safe, stable, great health care, and residency perks. But if your family is in the Philippines, owning a property back home also means being connected with your family. It's a retirement plan and has an emotional value. So the cost of living is also much lower. But yes, you must consider risk as well, like typhoons, earthquakes, and slower infrastructure development dahil sa ating mga nepo babies. Pero, Philippines is always home. Always feels like home. So here are the pros and cons of owning a property in Portugal and in the Philippines. So check out this table. If you buy a property in Portugal, the pros are foreigners can own land. There's a golden visa, strong tourism rental market, and a stable legal system. However, the cons are higher prices in Lisbon or Porto, transaction costs around 6 to 10%. Golden visa no longer includes real estate, and long processing times. Whereas in the Philippines, here are the pros. More affordable property, strong growth potential, cultural and emotional value, and family security and retirement plan. Whereas in the Philippines, the cons are foreigners cannot own land, with a few exceptions. So make sure you watch that video. Bureaucracy in transfers, title scams and due diligence checklist, and exposure to natural calamities. So what is it, Kabayan? Portugal or the Philippines? If your goal is European residency and lifestyle, Portugal could work. But if your dream is to retire, raise your family, or build wealth back home, the Philippines still remains the smarter choice. So here's my tip as the property lawyer. Wherever you invest, always do your due diligence, verify ownership, review contracts carefully, and consult a lawyer before signing anything. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to The Property Lawyer. Again, this is Attorney Donna, the property lawyer, guiding you to make smarter property investments wherever in the world you may be. See you next time, Kabayan!